Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm actually going to be touching on a topic here today from my lifespan class, but it's something that's actually like really near and dear to me because I'm actually going through it. And it's what's called the quarter life crisis. And some of you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you've never heard that phrase, you get exactly what it means because you're probably going through it yourself. So I just want to here today with this video bring some awareness and hopefully bring some support to this age group of mid-20s that it kind of seems like we're almost forgotten about. And this is really a stressful period in that age range just because this is where all the change is happening in our life. The big changes, the scary changes, the unexpected changes. And I feel that support is needed now more than ever. I feel like we do a lot of focusing on young adolescents, 18-year-olds, freshmen, even people that are older, 40s and 30s and up. We get a lot of statistics and a lot of love for those people, but we kind of just glance over this age group because they're like, oh yeah, we gave you the tools, you went to school, you should just be able to take care of yourself, figure it out. But it's just kind of like, no, now more than ever, I need you. I'm having one mental breakdown a day. I need some support. So I really just want everybody to kind of have a grasp of what's happening during this period and why it's so important that we support this age group right now. So just backtracking to being the biggest time in our lives, this is where you're probably getting out of school if you decided to go to school. Not deciding to go to school is a whole different situation on its own that adds stress to your life. Even at that point, once you're out of school or you didn't decide to go to school, you're working a full-time job probably. And if you're not working a full-time job, you're probably working multiple jobs in order to provide for yourself. And that's all one stress on its own, just work, which takes up a majority of our lives. That's what we see those people at work more than we see our families. We spend most of our time there than what we spend with our family and friends. So I feel like that's my number one, and that's a really big one. According to LinkedIn, they did a survey, and 60% of the people that took that survey said the number one stress in their lives is finding a job that they're passionate about. So that means that these people could have went to school, got a degree, got a job, found out that life wasn't what they expected, and they no longer think that they can do this job for the rest of their life. They can't be passionate about this for the rest of their lives. So it's just kind of like you just did all that preparing, working up from 18 years old, probably even earlier because they push you to know what you want to do with the rest of your life at such a young age, to get to this point in life and realize this is not what I want to do, and now we have to restart. So that's a big stressor. And then just to pile on top of that, things like your bills that you have to be responsible for now, responsibilities like providing for yourself, which is a big one. You have to be able to feed yourself. You have to be able to put gas in your car in order to get to your job. You have to be responsible enough to be able to plan your bills and pay those things on time so that they stay on. Dealing with things that are unexpected that nobody could have prepared you for, things like deaths, or even like rape, and you just having to be able to bounce back from that. Like, you're not going to get time off at your job sometimes for a friend's death, and you just have to be able to put on a face and keep pushing. And it's just kind of like, this is the age group where most people are overdosing on drugs or committing suicide. So it's just kind of like, this is the time period where we need more support than ever. Also on top of that, if that wasn't already enough, dealing with commitments, attempting to have a social life, because apparently you're supposed to have a work-life balance. I don't really know who said that that was even possible when I spend majority of my time at work and then afterwards attempting to go to school. It's a whole situation. But attempting to have a social life, caring about your health life, and I don't know who has any time for any of these things they're talking about. Sometimes I feel like I was forgetting to drink water at one point. I was borderline dehydrated, just trying to make it through the day. Um, so, and then you have like the biggest factors or the biggest pieces, I would say, which is figuring out who you are, why you're here, what you're here to do, and what makes you happy. These are the questions that I feel like every human asks themselves. And I feel like during this period in life, you ask those questions all the time, but you don't have time to sit and focus on what those are to make them happen. You have to attempt to make that happen and be happy on top of all 30,000 things that I just named off getting done too. So I just kind of feel like this is that time period in life where you kind of get knocked down, get back up, get knocked down, get back up. And in order to get back up and bounce back from those things, you have to have a good support system. So I hope that this brings some awareness to what people are going through during this period. And I feel like if we're supporting and we're helping people get through this period, that life doesn't have to be so hard going forward, because you have the tools, you have the village, and you have that support, you know. Another way that I just wanted to explain this, because I thought it was a really good way of breaking down what I'm really trying to say to you guys, is Maslow's pyramid. And on this pyramid, he kind of grouped into this pyramid steps and levels that of needs that people need in order to achieve self-actualization. The first step is physiological needs. The second one is safety needs. The third one is love needs, so the need to be loved, the need to feel belong. Self-esteem is the next, and then self-actualization is at the tip of the pyramid. And what he's basically saying is that you can't get to the top of the pyramid if you can't get past this step. So if you can't get past psychological, then there's no way you can make it to safety needs, to feel safe in life. So these are just the basic needs. And so a great way that I looked at it was physiological needs are basically having food, water, rest, warmth, shelter. Your mid-20s, that is exactly all you're worried about at that point. That is all you're worried about, is how I'm going to pay my rent, how am I going to pay these bills, to keep on my water, to keep on my lights, to keep the air on, the heat on. And it says rest, but I don't know who's getting rest in their mid-20s. I don't know how many times this year I said, I'll sleep when I die. Like, who's getting rest? It's not me. So it's just kind of like, how are we supposed to reach a healthy point in life, a healthy self-esteem, a feeling of being safe and secure, a feeling of being loved and wanted and needed, if we can't make it past this first step? It's a never-ending cycle of, this is just my responsibility and this is what I have to take care of. And it's exhausting. It's completely exhausting. And I want us to support each other better. I want someone to be there. I want people to know that this is not the easiest time in our lives, and we're out here trying to make things happen, and this is the time of unexpected things happening. Things didn't go the way we planned, and now we're trying to bounce back from those. And not even with that never-ending cycle of not being able to achieve my higher self, you have to look at it from a health standpoint. All these factors in life create anxiety and stress, and that creates depression. And according to Hopkins medicine, they literally said that the average onset for depression is mid-20s. And so it just doesn't stop at depression. That triggers all these disorders to come with it, things like panic disorder, and we all know about those, and things like PTSD, say like that death happened or you were raped, and you kind of just have to now deal with this on top of the rest of your life. And how are you supposed to be able to get through these things? So it's just a few things to think about, that it's not just, oh, she's just stressed out. It could trigger to other things. And for example, over the past couple of years, I went through a really hard time, and at one point I had gained so much weight to the point that I was pre-diabetic, or borderline diabetic, excuse me. I had sciatic nerve pain from pinched nerves and stress. It was crazy, and it just doesn't stop at a feeling. It could be worse if we don't take care of each other, if we don't pay attention. We exist and we're here, and just because I'm an adult doesn't mean that like I'm not stressed out, that I don't need that support. So it's just something to keep in mind, because even after that depression part, we start to get into things that are a lot harder, like suicide or substance abuse. And suicide's the leading cause of death in adolescence in this time frame. And most people that do commit suicide, they have a depression disorder, or they are using substance. And those people typically using substance are just trying to cope with life, and it's hard. So it's just kind of like we have to be able to look out for each other, and especially here in the state of Indiana, I'm sure we all know somebody that has overdosed or has died or has committed suicide. And it's scary. It's really scary, because that could be anybody. You could snap. And I really want us to be aware, and want you guys to do me a favor of going down into the comments after this video and just kind of saying one thing that you would need from our peers, so this age group, in order to get on with life. What would help you the most? What do you need from somebody else to be able to feel good enough to keep going? And also let me know if this video helped at all, bring some attention, some awareness. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I'll definitely be back with some of the feedback that you guys give, and I'll follow up with you guys. I want you guys to all stay strong. I want you guys to stay loved, keep believing in yourselves, and you got this, boo. We out here, and we gonna make it, you guys. So thank you for tuning in, my drama queens and drama kings. I'll see you guys later. Love you.